All right, Wack Deuce.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the Murder Rap. Thank you.
Man, thanks for having me.
How did you originally get involved with the Pirus and all that?
I was born and raised in the neighborhood I represented from birth. My parents, my daddy, my uncles is really the ones kind of like the foundation of where we all come from, as far as the mob go.
And was that Looters originally and then moved in?
That was Looters originally.
Yeah.
But they was kind of the branch that started the mob.
Right.
My dad, my uncles, and
yeah, Mob came out of Looters Park.
Right.
A lot of people wonder what was the relationship like between Mob and Looters Park? Was it pretty close still?
Very.
Yeah.
Very. I mean, even now, you have your inner beefs, a little shit going on, but for us older generations, it wasn't that. We wouldn't have made it if we all didn't get along. Wasn't enough of us, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Today is different.
What's going on today?
Oh, everything is cool now, but the younger generations, it's not blood and crip gang banging like that no more. And when that don't happen, then people tend to get into it with each other. You know what I mean? But like I said, it's the younger. But all that's kind of, buried under the sand.
Right.
We're trying to keep it together, get everything right.
When all this went down in the late 90s, you were a youngster. You were like 16?
Right.
What was it like? I mean, how did you get included as a teenager, basically?
I mean, everybody, they seen me grow up my whole life. You know what I mean? So, really came through Buntry and Trey.
Okay. That's who you were close with?
Yeah. All of them, though. I love them all of them, the big homies, It wasn't me. To me, I was like they nephew. Like, I was the first son as far as the mob go. Everybody else is this older people, but they was all females. So I was kind of the first kid who both his parents was in the streets, you know what I mean? As far as the boys go.
Right. And then how did you end up getting involved with Death Row?
I had gotten in a little trouble, got out of that, and we went around the corner to go see Trey and Buntry, and Trey was like, man, it wasn't even, everybody knew I was rapping, but it wasn't even really about that. It was more so, let's get these little bastards off the streets, you know what I mean, before they get themselves in trouble.
Right.
I remember before Pac came to Death Row, Suge, they used to come around, they always did stuff. Buntry still lived in the neighborhood. Everybody's parents was in the neighborhood. Trey people's, so me, junior high school, seeing them rolling, you know what I mean? Who wouldn't? That's where you're supposed to want to be, you know what I mean? So we stayed, every time they was around the corner, we walked around, me, my cousin Dank, Big Wack, our little team, we pull up, walk up, because we was teenagers, you know what I'm saying? Like 8th, 9th grade. So, in coming up, and I was always around. We was always outside, fighting, whatever, coming up in Compton. So we was the dudes who was outside. And then they just decided first it was like, give you some job, then they knew I can rap, and then everything else came with the rapping once, kind of me and Pac bumped heads.
How did you and Pac start to get to know each other?
Well, they came, it was around California Love video, right? I think I was 16, probably just turned 16 or something like that. But they was in the neighborhood, and I walked around there myself, really to go catch up with Trey. I didn't even know all them was around there, but the Outlawz was in a truck, like maybe 2 houses before Suge Mama house. So I didn't know who they was in the truck. And for me, they wasn't close. I'm like, who the fuck is that? You know what I mean? So I'm kind of like mad dog in the car, so I walked up to Suge, and I was in that truck, and he said, oh, them Pac little homies, man, you need to go holler at them, go meet them. And from there, it was what it is now, to this day, my brothers.
Do you remember who was in the car specifically?
Gaddafi, Napoleon, Edie, Fatal, Noble, and Castro.
All the
my
main
dogs,
guys.
to this day.
And then how did it go from there?
Man, it was just cool. Like, that day, I think we probably went to the studio, and it was just kind of up from there. And I was from that point on, I was always with Suge. So, Pac had his little homies, and then Suge had us.
Right.
And mainly me, because I was everywhere he was at, you know what I mean? So, that's what it was about. He wasn't even worried about me rapping or trying to rap. He's like, I'm gonna teach you how to run a company. You don't need to, how that goes. Like, you're gonna be, just didn't pan out like that. But it was all to kind of bring us up and show you something different, you know what I mean? Besides what we've been seeing.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like he was like that with Buntry and Big Jake kind of similar situations, kind of showing him how Neckbone started managing people.
Right.
So about a couple months later, I started getting payroll checks, and we was doing all kind of this and that, and he was giving me chances to figure out how to go past the check, to get your thing on up in here. Neckbone. I did whatever wasn't being done. I got some good ideas and this and that, and I've been learning from Suge every night, fucking with him and Buntry, you know what I mean? And I'm ready to put to work. You know, I used to sit up in the room and listen to demos for hours. I go in there with boxes of demos, lock the door in a little closet, and I'm listening to demos for hours, you know what I'm saying? I could discover an R&B group.
So that was kind of the idea?
Right.
Yeah.
Opposed to I'm gonna give you something, I can show you something too, you know what I mean? As far as the city, I mean, I just remember growing up and seeing a bunch of them with them lowriders. They, you know, everybody back then was having some money, you know, they was, like I said, it's a different world today with these kids. They, even in the music business, all they talk about is drugs, doing drugs. You know, we grew up talking about selling them. So to be a kid in that era, like right behind the NWA era, it was a lot of, the streets looked good. Black was real beautiful, you know what I mean? So those times just, I mean, as a kid, we used to have water fights with the next streets, and firework fights, we used to shoot Roman candles and shit at each other. We had great times, man.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of us, and my most blessed I feel about the way we grew up, as far as our generation and my crew, the homies, only 2 of us died. We only lost 2 people.
Of your age group.
Yep. Yep. Which is remarkable.
Yeah, because like the older generation, almost
Man,
all
they
of
was
them.
driving left and right.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was little, we had to sleep on the floor. It was so much shooting in Compton. Like when I was in elementary school, we had to sleep on the floor. So when we was coming up, we was like, yeah, no, we're not having that. So it worked out, like I said, only. And one of us, when Zabo, that's the one, Corn, well, he wasn't in our neighborhood when he got killed. And then the other homie, Bear, he wasn't in the neighborhood when he got killed either. He caught a stray bullet from somebody else's shit. But those are the only 2. So I feel like out of all the negativity we did all right. We did good. We was able to make it out, make it through. You know, now we either pushing 50 or in our 50s.
Right.
So it's a blessing,
Yeah.
straight up.
Yeah.
Got kids and grandkids, and you know, who would have thought?